Settle down, guys. We're going to begin. Settle down, please. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the New York City Council hearing on the Committee on Parks and Recreations. At this time, please silence all electronics and do not approach the dais. At this time as well, please, no food or drinks are to be allowed in the hearing room. Thank you. Chair, you may begin.
Good morning, afternoon, everyone. I'm Ty Hankerson, Chair of the Committee on Parks and Recreation. It's good to see everyone here. I'd like to welcome everyone to participate in today's hearing, who has come to participate in today's hearing. While the park system is anchored by the work done by the Parks Department and the public resources devoted to it, the full range of how it operates and the benefits of our parks provide cannot be realized without the engagement of countless partner organizations and volunteers. New Yorkers love to get involved in their communities to improve the quality of life for themselves and their neighbors. Parks offer up the best opportunity for doing so, whether it be through directly maintaining and beautifying our parks or providing cultural, recreational, and sports programming. The main entity involved in fostering greater engagement is Partnership for Parks, which is a joint program run by the nonprofit City Parks Foundation and the Parks Department. Its mission is to start, strengthen, and support neighborhood park groups and to link these groups together so that they can become active participants in caring for their respective parks. The partnership's outreach coordinators tap into all available resources to mobilize people into Friends of the Park groups. These Friends of groups connect local people and organizations with Parks Department in order to work as partners to improve their local parks. Technical assistance is also provided to help these groups learn skills on how to manage, care for, and maintain the areas they serve, as well as providing information and access to funding, which is necessary. The span of community engagement with parks is wide, as the Parks Department itself offers direct opportunities for volunteers, such as Green Thumb, Shape Up NYC, or to become a steward to assist with forest and wetland restoration, planting and pruning street trees, or monitoring local wildlife. New Yorkers clearly want to engage, and the numbers prove it. For example, in June 2023, Parks launched Let's Green NYC to increase the numbers of volunteers helping to beautify their local parks, with apparently over 400,000 volunteers getting involved with their parks. Most recently, in July 2025, over 1 million volunteers engaged with parks, resulting in more than 200 million volunteer hours being documented, something to be celebrated. They support what involvement does. The trend is clear, and efforts to encourage volunteerism and civic participation in caring for our parks is needed to supplement the work of the department and is another step to achieving greater park equity. It is important to note that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of small community-based groups that would love to take on a greater role in caring for their park. But there's a huge disparity in groups that can fundraise to support their efforts and those that cannot. So, we need to do all we can to alleviate this disparity and support these smaller groups so that they can thrive. I'd like this hearing to be used as a springboard to encourage greater participation by individuals in local community groups in the parks system by making it easier to engage with the city and in turn making the Parks Department more responsive to concerns raised by its partners and its volunteers. In order to do that, however, we need to obtain some greater detail on what the current process is and oversight elements that are involved in and how it functions, since it remains somewhat of a mystery to many New Yorkers. For example, how much staff is employed by the partnership? How are they distributed throughout the system? What is their funding allocation from public and private sources? What would be an ideal funding about? What are the duties of outreach coordinators and how many parks do they support? What involvement does it have with Parks Department capital projects, and how has the partnership been folded into contribution to ongoing community parks initiative. Let me read that again, 'cause I hope that made sense to you, because it didn't make sense to me. Hold on. We'd like to do a deeper dive into the programming, the partnership, and how distribution is coordinated throughout the system. What the funding allocation is from both public and private sources. What would be an ideal funding amount? What are the duties of outreach coordinators? And how many parks do they support? We'd like to know how the partnership works with Parks Department in terms of capital projects and in terms of procurement. That's better. It is my hope that this hearing will set the stage for this council and the administration to continue working together to tackle the disparities that exist in our park system, and recognize that encouraging volunteerism and participation in caring for our parks is just a crucial step in achieving equity, as ensuring sufficient amounts of public funding for our parks. I'm curious to explore these bills today and engage with what members of the Parks Department and the public have to say regarding this. Thank you again, and welcome to everyone. Now I'll turn it over to our committee counsel, Chris Satori, to swear in members of the Parks Department. And also, before we do that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Councilmember Chanel Thomas Henry, for remarks regarding her bill.
Thank you, Chair Hankerson, and the entire Committee on Parks and Recreation. So you will be hearing Intro 822 today, which I am proud to support, legislation that I am co-sponsoring with Councilmember Maloney to honor two global icons through the co-naming of Pele Way and Thierry Henry Way. And while this legislation recognizes greatness on the field, this is really about engagement, community, and culture. You see, what makes soccer so powerful is that it belongs to everyone. No matter where you come from, the game creates community, and that started with Pele. Pele was not just one of the greatest soccer players of all time. He helped transform soccer into a global language. For millions of people around the world, Pele was their introduction to the joy and possibility of soccer itself. He showed young people, especially Black and brown children, they could be part of something greater. And in doing so, he brought beauty, creativity, and humanity to the game in a way that inspired generations across continents. That mirrors the spirit of Queens, and that is why I'm honoring Pele here matters so deeply. In just weeks, the world will arrive in New York City for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. More than 1.2 million visitors are expected to come to our region, generating billions in economic activity and creating opportunities for workers and small businesses across the city. This legislation is the chance to show the world who we are. It would help connect visitors not just to the game, but to the culture and communities that make this city special. When people come to Queens during the World Cup, they will experience the energy of our business corridors, the flavors from every corner of the world, the sounds, the languages, the storefronts, and the pride that make this borough unlike anywhere else. Naming Pele Way becomes part of that experience. It encourages visitors to move beyond the stadiums and into the supporting communities, to experience the culture, diversity, and energy that makes Queens the world's borough. And when the final whistle blows, the legacy of this moment should still live on in the neighborhoods, corridors, and communities that welcome the world in. Thank you.
Thank you, council member. At this time, I'll turn it over to our committee counsel to swear in our members of the agency.
Thank you, Chair. With the representatives of the Parks Department, please raise your right hand if you're able. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this committee today, and respond honestly to council member questions? Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge that we've been joined by council members Morano, Nycc, Ong, Nurse, Marte, Thomas Henry, Krishnan, Lee, and Salam. Thank you for joining us. All right, we'll start with some brief questions from me, and then I'll turn it over to my colleagues. I'm sorry. I just didn't want you to say that's what it was. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I blame it on the weather.
We'll get to the questions, I'm sure. Good afternoon, Chair Hankerson, members of the Parks Committee, and other members of the City Council. My name is Margaret Nelson, the Deputy Commissioner for Public Programs and Community Engagement for NYC Parks. And I'm joined here today by Karina Smith, our Assistant Commissioner for Strategic Community Engagement, Matt Jury, our Chief of Citywide Legislative Affairs. We are pleased to be here today alongside our incredible partners at the City Parks Foundation to testify about one of the most critical aspects of our agency, engagement with community-based organizations and volunteers. Robust public engagement is a central plank of our agency's strategic approach, imbued within every aspect of the agency's operations, as our parks employees have direct engagement and interaction with the public in a huge variety of ways. Whether it's a shape-up class instructor at a local parks recreation center, an urban park ranger leading curious park visitors on a nature walk, a city parks worker advising visitors where the nearest bathroom is, our local borough staff attending community board meetings and council participatory budget info sessions, or a capital team hosting a public design input session. Practically every member of our agency staff has the privilege of regularly engaging directly with the public, an experience we value deeply. One major avenue for this engagement is our agency's direct relationship with countless individual volunteers and local community organizations that are working alongside us to make sure their local parks reflect their community's needs and priorities. We are very proud of the work our dedicated staff to care for our city parks, and our efforts are bolstered and supported by engaged and empowered New Yorkers, making these spaces even more active and vibrant and sources of community pride. Hundreds of local groups dedicate their precious time and energy throughout the year in our city's parks and public spaces, benefiting from connection to nature and to one another, all while having an impact on the environment. For New Yorkers looking to get more involved in their local parks, they can visit our agency website to learn more about a wide range of potential opportunities, from becoming a member of your local Green Thumb Community Garden, helping plant a tree, or monitor horseshoe crabs in Coney Island through our stewardship program, or joining It's My Park event in their community, led by our incredible Partnership for Parks team. Partnership for Parks, or PFP, is a unique public-private partnership between New York City Parks and City Parks Foundation, and serves as our primary mechanism to support and champion grassroots volunteers by giving them the tools they need to advocate and care for their neighborhood parks and green spaces in a dedicated, sustained way. PFP equips people, organizations, and government with resources and opportunities to ensure these spaces are dynamic community assets. PFP offers resources and opportunities to neighborhood organizations in all 5 boroughs, while driving equity by prioritizing investment in areas that have experienced historic disinvestment. Support includes tools and supplies, training and coaching on topics like group development, event planning, working with elected officials, and fundraising. And through our partnership with City Parks Foundation, PFP makes hundreds of thousands of dollars in programming and capacity grants each year, and even provides fiscal sponsorship to enable informal groups to receive grants for their activities. In 2025 alone, PFP distributed over $900,000 in grant funds to grassroots groups to conduct stewardship and programming. Through our PFP community engagement coordinators and organizers, we provide direct expertise and support for park beautification, community events, strategic planning, leadership, group development, and advocacy, including ongoing help securing permits and building stronger relationships with our New York City Park staff. The It's My Park program offers support for community, nonprofit, and corporate partners to revitalize local green spaces through cleaning, painting, and gardening. Further, in service of equitable community support and our commitment to underserved parks and communities, PFP employees execute focused, intensive park engagement efforts through our Catalyst program, which equips individual leaders and dedicated park groups with the tools they need to make positive changes in parks that need it most, focusing on equity and community representation in addressing quality of life and other critical local issues. In fiscal year 2025, PFP supported over 490 active community groups involved in parks across the city, including over 400 groups that provided direct hands-on care through cleanup, gardening, and painting projects. Through the It's My Park program, PFP organizes and supported over 1,400 beautification projects annually with over 27,000 volunteers from community, nonprofit, civic, youth, and corporate organization, accomplishing 102,000 hours of volunteer time. Green Thumb is our agency's community garden program, facilitating free access to land, gardening equipment and materials, technical assistance, educational workshops, and seasonal programs to support community gardeners and urban farmers. Our Green Thumb agency staff provide programming and material support to dedicated garden groups. Green Thumb is the largest community gardening program in the nation, with 567 Green Thumb gardens, 391 of which are located on property under our jurisdiction, all offering a diverse array of spaces for relaxation and community engagement located on 100 acres across our city. Our dedicated volunteer gardeners, over 20,000 New Yorkers of all ages and backgrounds, are the backbone of the Green Thumb program, and we're grateful for their efforts that make these community gardens such special places. Our agency's stewardship program engages volunteers on projects across the city's 12,000 acres of natural landscapes, working to remove invasive plant species, care for nature trails, install protective fencing, and plant native species to enhance biodiversity. The program promotes engagement with street trees, as well as our stewardship volunteers remove litter and weeds from tree beds, cultivate the soil, and spread fresh mulch. In calendar year 2025, the program engaged over 6,100 volunteers who donated nearly 14,000 hours of service at 450 events, caring for New York City's trees and natural areas. This can take the form of a single-day stewardship event, but our stewardship team also engages, educates, and empowers volunteers through our Green Neighborhood program and works with advanced volunteers called Super Stewards. The Green Neighborhoods program is an initiative to engage local communities in the care of street trees, forests, wetlands, gardens, and other natural resources in neighborhoods around the city. This program generates connections between individual volunteers and groups that are vested in and care about nature in their neighborhoods and works to broaden public understanding of the role and place of nature in the city. The Super Stewards program is a training and permitting program designed to support long-term, ongoing volunteerism across the city. Super Stewards work independently to care for their neighborhood parks, recruit neighbors and friends, and track and coordinate their efforts with us. We're also in the midst of our decennial Trees Count Tree Census, in which volunteers are helping us to survey and count all of the trees within our landscaped parks. Over 2,500 dedicated tree lovers came out last summer to take part in this effort, which will start back up later this month, and we welcome all of you to help get the word out and even come out and join us in our parks. Through each of these programs and initiatives, though each of these programs and initiatives are being implemented by different divisions within the agency, our teams work in close coordination and collaboration and find every opportunity to leverage our agency's engagement efforts in a strategic manner. For example, as part of the development of the recently released Urban Forest Plan, the city, led by the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice with significant support from parks, undertook a major engagement effort as more than 8,000 New Yorkers participated in public workshops and tours in all 5 boroughs, virtual focus groups, and a citywide online questionnaire. And many of these community input activities were designed and led by our City Parks Foundation and PFP Catalyst team members. From winter 2024 through fall 2025, these efforts gathered over 20,000 unique comments reflecting a diverse range of opportunities and challenges for New York City's urban forest and how communities hope to be involved. In alignment with one of the actions detailed in the Urban Forest Plan, PFP is collaborating with our forestry and stewardship teams to plan engagement around the neighborhood tree planting program and expand tree stewardship in heat-vulnerable neighborhoods so more trees can thrive and reach maturity and communities can directly benefit from their efforts to combat climate change. PFP will also provide community tree stewards with training and technical assistance through our Partnerships Academy program and educational materials that teach communities how to care for trees and the importance of trees for human and environmental health. At Parks, we know that information is an essential resource, and we are dedicated to transparency, making sure our volunteers, park advocates, and interested New Yorkers can get access to data and information that can help them get more involved with their green and open spaces. So we developed and launched the Vital Parks Explorer, a public-facing digital map that empowers New Yorkers with data about access to critical components of a vital park system. For the first time ever, New Yorkers can compare their community's access to park amenities and services with other neighborhoods in the city, which means they can more effectively advocate for more resources for increasing access and performance of their local parks and help ensure there is equitable investment in their community. One important way that local organizations help activate and energize our parks is through special events and programming, as well as athletic tournaments and league play on our fields and courts, including everything from soccer tournaments and Little League matches to movie nights and cherry blossom viewing parties. New York City Parks is pleased to work with special event organizers and sports leagues to support events beyond the 20,000 free public programs provided by the agency each year, as we feel that activating our parks with a wide range of recreational and cultural activity helps make them more robust and dynamic spaces for everyone to enjoy. We recognize that these special events and athletic activities provide tremendous added value to our park system, and we are committed to offering fair and equitable access to these spaces for organizations and individual New Yorkers alike, while ensuring that all proposed activities are appropriate and avoid negative impacts on our shared open spaces. For example, in November 2024, we updated agency rules and permit fee schedules for athletic fields and courts to allow for more equitable access for nonprofit community organizations, increasing transparency and improving customer service for in-demand ball fields and courts. In addition, we implemented process improvements for our athletic permits to ensure a faster, more streamlined request experience while introducing new system features designed to enhance usability and expanded access to available permitted time. We also hold pre-season field and court public information sessions to help guide leagues and civic leaders through our permit process. We heard from local community organizations that our special events permitting process could be difficult for some to navigate, so we hosted 9 public input meetings in all 5 boroughs with support from our borough offices and PFP staff, and are undertaking a variety of process improvements, including updating the special events landing page to make it more user-friendly and easier to navigate. We also have plans underway to update our permit application portal on our agency's website. Parks is also producing a How to Hold Special Events guide for community groups in multiple languages so they can better understand the special event permit process. New Yorkers need and deserve vibrant parks that serve their local communities. While our agency invests considerable staffing, capital improvements, and dynamic public programming across our network of green spaces, we know that bringing residents together in our parks through volunteering builds social capital in a community, fostering trust, understanding, cohesion, and unity. We are proud to be the agency responsible for building and maintaining our park system in collaboration with our partners and friends groups, ranging from larger conservancies with formal license agreements to small informal gatherings of neighbors organizing volunteer cleanups, and of course the individual New Yorkers and park visitors who use our parks every day and do their part by treating these public spaces with the respect and dignity they deserve, so we can all enjoy this vital resource that we all have to share. Thank you for allowing us to testify before you today and for your continued advocacy and support for our parks. After we hear from our colleagues at the City Parks Foundation, we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I'm turning it over to Heather.
were sworn in already. You're good.
Hi, I'm Heather Lubov. I'm the Executive Director of City Parks Foundation. I'm really excited to be here to talk about partnerships for parks. I hope this is just the first of many conversations that we'll have going forward. We're the private in the public-private program that is Partnerships for Parks. We also serve as an administrator of the 45-member New York City Parks and Open Space Partners Coalition of nonprofit stewardship organizations. And we manage and administer the New York City Green Fund, which is a pooled fund that makes grants to grassroots and medium-sized organizations and programming groups working in parks and open spaces. And of course, although not the subject of today's hearing, we directly bring hundreds of free sports, arts, and environmental education programs to parks across the city. The primary benefit of a public-private partnership is that we, as the private nonprofit organization, can bring diverse funding to the table. In addition to the Council's own Parks Equity Initiative, we raise funds from private individuals, corporations, and foundations. In total, we're adding $3.6 million to support Partnerships for Parks. Additionally, as the administrator of the New York City Green Fund, we're adding another $2.6 million every year in grants to grassroots and medium-sized partners that directly support free, community-led arts and culture, environmental, and health and wellness programming, along with stewardship activities across the city. Another benefit of a public-private partnership is that as a private organization that has been working with communities for 37 years, we've built up a level of trust that has strengthened the relationship between residents and their local government. Navigating city systems can sometimes be difficult, especially for volunteer-led groups, and our role is to provide the support, the structure, and the flexibility that allows communities to take action. There are several programs within Partnerships for Parks that are supported exclusively by City Parks Foundation, the first of which is Catalyst, which is an intensive outreach effort that historically and to this day focuses on disadvantaged communities or those that have experienced disinvestment and inequity. Catalyst embeds a community engagement coordinator in just 3 to 5 parks at a time, and that's a much smaller portfolio than a typical community engagement coordinator. And we do this in order to build deep and lasting relationships and networks. We go out into a community and identify local leaders, we foster connections, and we create the conditions for sustained engagement where it does not yet exist, empowering communities to become civically engaged in a way that hasn't previously been possible or accessible. 2 examples of past Catalyst projects include the creation of the Bronx River Alliance many years ago, or our more recent work in Coney Island Creek and Kaiser Park, where deeply rooted environmental justice issues were addressed through community involvement in park planning, advocacy, and the restoration of critical environmental infrastructure. As you heard, our funding also supports a new forestry outreach team that helps collect the community input for the first urban forest plan, and the team of 3 full-time staff will now develop and support street tree stewards throughout the city so that our existing trees thrive and our canopy increases. The technical assistance team is also City Parks Foundation supported and offers skill building workshops and seminars on everything from how to start a park group to how to host a family day. The team provides fiscal sponsorship for 200 groups that are either not registered as 501c3s and or do not want the responsibility of managing funds. By us handling the administrative requirements, we're enabling community leaders to focus on the visible, on-the-ground improvements that their neighborhoods need. Finally, the technical assistance team also includes the staff that review, distribute, and manage the New York City Green Fund's grassroots grants. They currently oversee 144 active grants worth more than $900,000. I'll point out here that the Green Fund also distributes more than $2 million annually, so on top of the grassroots program, we also make grants to medium-sized organizations. The maximum budget is $2.5 million. So they have some staff, but they're generally pretty small. The vast majority of all grants that we make are directed to environmental justice communities and are run by BIPOC leaders. To round out our work, we oversee the corporate engagement for It's My Park. generating both awareness among and funding from our city's corporate community, encouraging them to be good corporate citizens and to better understand the role that parks play in the well-being of our city. I do want to say a word about the Parks Equity Initiative, which is a City Council-directed initiative that was created in 2014 to match the administration's addition of $1.4 million at the time so that New York City Parks could hire more community engagement coordinators to reach more parks and more people, particularly in under-resourced neighborhoods. That investment has been critical to the program's success. This year, we are requesting an expansion of funding for the Parks Equity Initiative to increase support for Partnerships for Parks and the groups that we serve. There are so many parks and public spaces that still lack organized stewardship, and many communities that are eager to be engaged but need the support to do so. In addition to our work with Partnerships for Parks, City Parks Foundation co-founded and now serves as the administrator for the New York City Parks and Open Space Partners Coalition, which is a network of just under 50 conservancies and other small nonprofit park stewards. Originally set up as a way for all of us to share information during COVID, it's turned into an association that provides a support system for the many nonprofits that work in the field. The median annual budget for our members is just $2 million. So while these groups are incorporated and may have staff, they are small, and just about half do not have license agreements, but they're a little bit too large to work with Partnerships for Parks. We've been working very closely with the team at New York City Parks to help address some of the issues that these organized nonprofits face, especially when they're small and have modest funding. And that could be anything from shared services like training or HR or finance consulting or other kinds of traditional management concerns. Finally, through the New York City Green Fund and a special set-aside specifically for systems change, we've been able to support research, convenings, and stakeholder engagement to better understand challenges that open space stewards face and to help advance solutions across the public realm. With grant support, the Trust for Public Land was able to document the economic impact of parks in New York City. The Center for an Urban Future was able to identify multiple ways to secure alternative funding for parks, and the Design Trust was able to research how permitting is handled in other cities and make recommendations that would make the process easier in New York City. We have a convening scheduled for next week, at which time we will identify action steps for the next year. Thank you for shining a light on the critical community engagement work that Partnerships for Parks supports. While we can all get caught up in the day-to-day minutia of our work, in the end, I am regularly reminded that what Partnerships for Parks is doing is building civic engagement across our city. Numerous studies have demonstrated that volunteering in parks has a spillover effect. Civic engagement is meaningfully associated with park volunteering, and environmental identity is a key mediating factor. In a city like New York, where parks serve as our backyards and our living rooms, the work we are doing at the hyperlocal level is critical for addressing many quality of life issues and building and supporting our democracy.
Thank you so much, Heather. All right, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to start with my colleague, Councilmember Nycc, because I know that she has to run to the nurses event. We love our nurses.
Thank you. And I'm so appreciative of you, Chair, for your understanding, because yes, nurses matter, and this is the Nurses Week. They are powerful, and I have to be present, and we need them to keep our healthcare structure going for us. So to the panel, you know why I'm here, because you mean so much to me too. And I want to say thank you to all the amazing work we've been doing in Southside Brooklyn, in my district. City Parks Foundation happened to be really my partner, my greatest partner I can ask for, and I have to say thank you. To Maria Garrett from Fresh Creek, for Jamaica Bay Rockaway Parks Conservancy, thank you. For NYCH, that's in the house, Matt, thank you. For Marine Park Alliance, Scott Middleton. I always forget Scott last name. So why I'm saying all these things is because Saturday we had a big war on trash in our community. So parks step up. All the parks were just like, by the time we got there, it was so clean. So I want to say thank you. We didn't have much to do around parks, so thank you for your presence here. But I have a few questions since you know I'm running. But if you can answer them for me, that would be nice. The increase you asked, so can you repeat that? How much that you're asking for? Because you're so important. I want to ask you, what oversight mechanism exists to ensure that volunteer labor is not being used to substitute for paid parks staff in a ways that reduce headcount or undermine union agreement? And when a volunteer is injured while performing work in the city park, who bears the liability? And are volunteers adequately, sorry, I'm running and I'm like, have enough information before they showed up? And most volunteers, right? Recruitment and CBO's communication runs through online portals. What is the department doing to reach community members who are not digitally connected? We know the seniors are not. I'm trying to get you all the question and you can answer for me. At the last hearing, I asked about the salaries for park gardeners and raising them to attract more talented and fill position. Has any progress has been made on this issue? What is the protocol for a community-based organization to apply for a license agreement so that they can raise funds and perform maintenance and capital improvement in parks? What are the criteria for CBOs to qualify for a license agreement? Who currently at the park department is responsible for establishing agreement with the CBOs? I know it's a lot, and I can repeat them.
Hi, I'm gonna take a stab at a few of those questions and turn them over to my colleagues for some of the other questions. So, first of all, to your question about the issue of volunteers versus our paid staff, I just want to be clear that we have, a huge infrastructure of our paid parks workers who are out there maintaining our parks every day. We have schedules of maintenance for each of our parks at different levels, depending on kind of what we see as the demand. And we maintain a high level of cleanliness. We rate ourselves. We have independent inspectors at a different part of the agency coming out and checking our parks. So I would say that base level, we take responsibility for making sure we have uniformity across the city in terms of maintaining basic levels of service and cleanliness. It is so important, though, when volunteers come in and they supplement the work we do, and they can help beautify, they can help add value to that existing park system. So we don't see it as replacing it all. We see it as an added value, and we appreciate the work. And I think, as you also heard, it's not only helping that park, but it's really creating that civic infrastructure and bringing communities together. And that is the other reason why it's so important to support these volunteer activities. So that's number one. In terms of outreach, in terms of live, website versus in person, I hear you. I think we try to provide a lot of information online so that it's easily accessible, but a lot of people don't necessarily have access or are not online. Our Partnership for Park staff are always out there in communities. They're tabling when we're doing in-person scoping sessions for our capital projects. We're setting up a table and letting people know about volunteer activities. Our community engagement coordinators who are they each have their own geographic areas throughout the city, and they're constantly on the phone and calling, visiting sites in person. They attend a lot of the It's My Park events. So we are trying to be out there in person in addition to the online and digital outreach that we do. In terms of salaries for parks gardeners, salaries for all of our agency staff are not negotiated by parks. They're part of collective bargaining. They have union representation that goes through OLR. So certainly seeking to increase salaries, we certainly appreciate that, but that's not something that Parks is in charge of. And you'd probably have to take that up with OLR as the agency responsible. In terms of license agreements, we do have, I think it's about a couple dozen license agreements now with partners, and we are in the process of discussing with other organizations that are interested in having license agreements with us. I would say that the preconditions for a license agreement is that a group is bringing some value that needs to be captured in a license agreement. Obviously, if a group wants to help maintain a park or help advocate for a park, that doesn't require a license agreement, right? So I think there's a certain threshold that has to be made where they're bringing such substantial funding into a park that we have to kind of have that covered in a formal agreement so that both sides are protected. But we're happy to have more conversations with you about that process. I think under Assistant Commissioner Karina Smith, she has another division that works strategic partnerships that works very closely with our licensed partners and our prospective licensed partners. So she can speak more to that if you have time.
You can make it short because that's not my hearing.
Okay.
That's my chair that's being nice to me. Since I love parks, I always have a lot of questions.
Yeah, and I just think in terms of who's responsible for license agreements, it is primarily a legal document. So our general counsel's office is the one that's moving those license agreements forward with the law department. The law department also has to sign off. And if there's concession revenue that's part of that agreement, it has to go through the FCRC process as well. But again, the strategic partnerships team, small and mighty, does do a lot of that individual hand-holding and working with groups that are looking or going through that license agreement process. In terms of if a volunteer is injured, I'm not sure I have the answer.
Yeah, that's okay. I can interject a little bit here and just say that the fact is that it will depend on the circumstances traditionally. So depending on the scale of the event and the nature of the incident, where that liability and responsibility lies, can vary widely. So ultimately, it is one of the reasons why for larger gatherings, special events of that nature, providing proof of insurance is sometimes a requirement because that's the city needs to protect itself legally. But your question is, for example, if an informal, volunteer is informally, taking care, helping pick up around the park and injures themselves, that's a more complicated, discussion that would have to be adjudicated on a case by case basis. And then lastly, I think you asked for a reiteration of Heather's testimony about the Parks Equity Initiative. So I think she can quickly recap that as well.
Currently, we receive $778,500 for primarily staffing for Partnerships for Parks through CPF. So we're asking for a $221,500 increase. So just to get us up to $1 million.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah. And thank you, Chair, for being so patient with me. I got to run. Happy Nurses Week to all the nurses that are hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. You know what? I think I'm just going to do this entire hearing a little differently, but I have a couple follow-up questions. How often do inspectors conduct cleanliness assessments of the parks? And does it differ by borough?
Sure. Park staff, so there are sort of layers of inspection that happen on any given day. And I'll start sort of with the most granular and kind of work our way up. So our park supervisors and managers are in our parks every day. So I think we would argue there's a layer of sort of inspection and supervision that's happening nonstop. Additionally, there are monthly park supervisor inspections, which are undertaken by our maintenance and operations division, where they are sort of spot checking, parks that are under their management purview. Separate and apart from that, we have what's known as our parks inspection program, and that is undertaken by an entirely separate division. It's akin, I don't know if for people who've worked in the retail industry, it's a little bit like a secret shopper experience, where a highly trained staff, not outside of coordination with our, not beknownst to our M&O staff, is doing very granular, comprehensive, deep inspections of park properties, and they are out, providing thousands of inspections at all of our properties.
What are the type of things that they're looking for in these inspections?
They generally, there's two types of categories that they're inspecting. One broad category is cleanliness, and the other is overall condition. So cleanliness would refer to graffiti, litter, dog waste, and then overall condition could be looking at faucets within a public restroom facility, broken bench, broken glass, broken sidewalk. Like there's pieces that are sort of structural, if you will. That they are assessing as well. And these assessments are accumulated over time, and that's actually what informs the cleanliness and overall condition ratings that are in our mayor's management report. So those are sort of gold standard, if you will, that we hold ourselves
So
to.
if an inspector goes out there, inspecting a park and they see that there's litter, trash, etc., do they make a call to the park manager? When is
Yes.
it addressed?
Great question. Yes, and it folds sort of in a cascading sort of prioritization. If they see any immediate safety concerns, let's say a jagged metal, blade, jagged piece of metal or something that could be an immediate concern, that's known as an IA, an immediate action item, and that is flagged immediately for M&O staff, and it's addressed as quickly as possible. Separate and apart from that, this data is reviewed on I want to say it's monthly or bi-monthly, a very frequent, a monthly basis with between PIP staff and M&O staff, where these comprehensive this comprehensive data is reviewed and patterns are detected, and any sort of repeated challenges with a given park. Let's say it has struggled in in a inspection or two in a row. Like those are we do a deep dive into those, and so there's obviously even though the inspections are conducted independently, the information is shared, immediately and consistently.
If someone has a permit for, let's just say, a family day or community day, something like that, and that happens on a Saturday, is the park inspected after the event? Is there someone that goes out, and how soon after does that happen?
So the beauty of the parks inspection program is that it is essentially the inspections are essentially randomized. So that can happen, and so it can work in either direction. The inspection can theoretically happen right before a big event, or at the beginning of like a busy weekend, or it can happen at the end of a busy weekend. So it is a snapshot in time that statistically it will sort of account for what we're looking for is sort of a consistent level of service being provided to a park, even though at any given moment it could be really, really busy. And then so obviously when you walk through a park, you will experience it at that moment in time. So as these inspections are repeated over time, you're building sort of a statistical base where you can zoom out and sort of provide, that way you can kind of rely on the data. Otherwise, you're just getting captured in one specific moment in time.
So
I just wanted to add to that, because I think your question is a little bit about also how a specific event, how that's seen by our local park
Correct.
staff. So I think there's good, as part of that special event permit application and approval, there's the special event application goes to our special event permit staff for review. Part of their review is talking to the local park management about this event, the timing of the event. They get the approval of the local park staff. So the local park staff is then also going to know when that event is happening. So they make sure that the site is ready for the event in the morning of the event. And our protocol is to try to have somebody from park maintenance kind of on site checking that event, especially at the end of the event, to notice if they're, because we require folks to clean up after their event. So if the event wasn't cleaned up after, it's going to require resources of ours. We note that to try to let that group know, like, you're in violation, or you didn't clean up appropriately, or we may have to charge you for that cleanup.
I was going to ask, what if any enforcement measures are taken if you realize that a group did not, uphold their end of the bargain, and just to use that terminology in terms of cleaning?
Yeah, I think that, we try to work with groups around making sure they understand the expectations and that they meet those expectations. If they haven't met those expectations, we'll let them know. We might just make sure in the next time they apply for a permit, we do sometimes take bonds, and those bonds are to help pay for things that they, like any sort of damage or any additional cleanup, and that's the purpose of the bond system.
Okay, thank you for that. Because I am doing this hearing just a little differently, I want to make it more conversational. So I'm going to turn it to my colleague, Councilmember Morano, and then I'll jump back in.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your testimony today. And I also want to join Councilmember Nycc in praising the work of great groups like NYC H2O, which helped to make the parks in our district a lot cleaner and a lot better. So thank you for your work. By the way, for a group like NYC H2O, I've heard some concern about how formalized the structure is for them to become a CBO. Can you speak briefly about how that actually occurs?
So I think we have a good working relationship with H2O. I think they do a lot of different programming throughout our park system. I think most of that is taking place using special event permits. I think we're also in the process of talking to them about using work permits, because some of the work they're doing is actual restoration work and maybe would require a different kind of permit. So again, not every group, and especially H2O, which is lightly touching a lot of different areas, is the appropriate vehicle for, say, a license agreement, as I understand. But we can look more into kind of, I'm not familiar specifically with all the complexity of that specific group, but happy to talk more
Thank
as
you.
a follow-up.
You mentioned in your testimony prioritizing historically underserved communities and equitable investment. Staten Island has more park land per capita than any other borough. Can you tell me specifically how Staten Island fares in PFP staffing, grant funding, volunteer programming, and community partnership resources compared to the other boroughs?
I mean, I'll just say top line, I think we look to distribute our resources equally across the boroughs. So we do have community engagement coordinators in Staten Island like we have in other boroughs. I think in terms of the money that we're giving out, it really is a function of who's applying for the money. I was excited to hear that in terms of the Catalyst program, where we're actually, reaching out to figure out parks that need more of that support and more organized volunteer groups. We are working with several Staten Island parks and working with the Catalyst program to do specific outreach in Staten Island, which I'm excited about. And Heather, I'm going to turn it over to Heather if she wants to speak
Please.
more to this.
Yes, so we have a Catalyst organizer who is working along the North Shore Esplanade, in Corporal Thompson Park, and in Tappan Park. And that's specifically to do community engagement work at a very local level. And it's just those three parks that he's working in. So, I mean, the Esplanade is large, but it's just those three locations. In addition, we have been trying very hard to get as many groups as possible to apply for the Green Fund grant. We've seen a slight increase. If you could get the word out to groups, we'd be happy to fund them.
Sure.
So, we've seen a slight increase as we try, to get the word out. But any help that you could provide, we would love.
I was really glad to hear in your testimony, Deputy Mayor, that the admission that the permitting system can be difficult to navigate, because it's been a frustration from a lot of the folks that I've heard from. In your testimony, you say that community organizations told you the special event permitting process was difficult to navigate. What specifically were the biggest complaints that you heard?
So as I said in the testimony, we did a series of 9 borough in-person forums last year where we invited groups to come and talk to us so they could both hear about what the special event permit process is and what the rules and requirements are, and also hear from them kind of what their challenges were and how we might be able to address them. So I think we have to keep in mind that we have a special event permit process in order to make sure that events that are happening in our parks are happening safely with the right, not impinging on other people's use of the space, that and a variety of other things that we have to keep in mind, right? So there's a lot of checks and balances here that we have to make sure we're providing for the safety of park goers. So we ask people to apply to host a special event using our special event process, where we need people to apply at least 21 days in advance, but ideally months in advance. And sometimes things that people want to do might require insurance. They might require you have to go to NYPD for amplified sound permit. You might, if you have a generator, you have to go to FDNY. And sometimes all of those requirements aren't necessarily clear to a small group up front. And so as they're trying to figure out their event, they're running into these obstacles. So I think, first of all, trying to provide more clarity up front, where we've revised our website to make it more clear what some of those requirements are, is one of the things that we're doing. The other thing is we're putting together a pamphlet, again, just with this information on how to do a special event, trying to get our rules and our requirements more out there so that they're familiar with it. I would say that PFP, one of the great things about PFP is that those community engagement coordinators can really hold the hands of small groups who may not understand the special event permits process and really help walk them through, help them develop that relationship with the special events borough permit coordinators, and make sure they're getting answers, to their questions. The other thing we heard is that, a bit of transparency, like they might be applying for a site and that site might not be available. And they want to know, well, how do I find out what site would be available? And so one of the things we did with our athletic permit process a few years ago is that we really were able to create more transparency by putting online a map of all our courts and fields and being able to show the public when those courts and fields are already permitted, so you're not applying for a permit for a site that's not available. So again, in some of our parks, there's a lot of demand. You might apply to do an event and that site's already taken. And so that's something we're looking to see if we can replicate with the special event permits process too, but that's still to come.
Chair, one final question, if I may. I noticed a lot of impressive sounding volunteer numbers in the testimony and the briefing materials, but the mayor's management report shows volunteer turnout declining. Can you explain that contradiction? Are people counted multiple times? What exactly counts as a volunteer? Did the counting methodology change?
I think we have various ways we count volunteers, so my guess is going to be like whatever is reported in the mayor's management report might be a subset. But I don't have that in front of me, so it's something we can get back to you. But Assistant Commissioner Smith, go ahead.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So the mayor's management report is exactly a subset of volunteerism in the Parks Department. And as Commissioner Nelson said, volunteerism comes into parks in a variety of ways, in many different buckets. So that is probably what's accounting for that discrepancy in the report. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
I believe that the council member gave you a promotion to deputy mayor, so congratulations.
I almost called you mayor today. It's my third hearing of the day.
So I do have a couple follow-up questions before we go to the Bronx. So you mentioned a pamphlet that would help folks. When will that pamphlet be complete and ready for distribution?
Thank you for the question, council member. It is in production at the moment. We are vetting a few final items. We're hoping to have it ready by the end of the year. And when we do produce it, it's going to be in multiple languages so that it's accessible by all communities.
Thank you. Does PFP work with local council member offices to get the word out about all the help that's out there? So I know that the resources are there, the help is there, but how do folks actually gain access to the help?
Yeah, I think we do work with council members' offices, and we would love to work more with any council member that's interested. I mean, we can put together like an informational event. We can attend any meetings you have with community members to kind of, promote our services. And I think, again, if you know of a group that's interested in volunteering in our park or doing some service in our park, you should contact PFP and put them in touch, because our community engagement coordinators can start that intake process of like talking to them about what they want to do, connect them to trainings, connect them to resources. So we want to be a resource for you and your community groups to engage with parks. Absolutely.
I'd love to, and we can talk about this offline, but I'd love to host a workshop here at 250 for members' offices.
We would love that. We would love that.
Before the summer gets here. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. One final question. This is for Heather. Can you name the neighborhoods that are currently benefiting from Green Fund grants?
Oh. Actually, Green Fund grants are pretty much all over the entire city, but I will say I think it's 80% are focused in environmental justice communities, but basically we try to hit every neighborhood. So, okay, here's the answer. Okay, this time around, we gave away 49 grants We're about to, the press release hasn't even gone out yet, so hot off the press. We're about to give out 49 grants worth $325,000, 6 in the Bronx, 19 in Brooklyn, 8 in Manhattan, 7 in Queens, 4 in Staten Island, 5 serve multi-boroughs. 71% are serving environmental justice areas, and 80% are led by majority BIPOC leaders.
How many in Queens?
7. We've seen a slight decline in Queens, and we want to make sure that that goes back up. Now, I should point out, though, that there are some grantees that are multi-year grantees. So these are new grants that are being made. So it doesn't mean that there are no other grants out there that are being spent. This is just the new money that we're about to distribute.
And you talked about potentially increasing in Queens. How would you go about that?
Any way that we can. It's really a matter of getting the word out. So, we go to community boards, all the same things that you've heard, all the methodologies, social media, email, community boards, in-person meetings, brochures, postcards, whatever we can do to get the word out. So we would love your help.
And I just want to add, I think the Green Fund grant program, which is relatively new, is such a critical tool with helping these community-based organizations. Because as you know, they want to see a lot of activation of their parks, but they might not have the funds to do that. And so now the fact that they can go and get a grant to do an activity in their park for the community is just a really wonderful kind of asset that we can provide these community groups.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon. I'm on the same boat as Councilmember Morano. We've been spending a lot of time today together, which is awesome. So I first just wanted to start with just so much gratitude for the work that Partnership for Parks does, the support from the City Parks Foundation, and really, really, really give flowers to Pilar Mashi. I don't know if you know her. She's been there for a long time. But just the work that she does to organize our friends groups in the West Bronx is transformational, right? It's just incredible. Like, this woman will put up flyers. She'll just spend a whole day like putting up flyers on every building just to get folks out to a meeting and build that civic capacity. And it just really matters, right? We have very low civic capacity right now, low civic engagement because we're such a low-income community, but this is what starts to transform that, right? Getting people involved. So I have a very simple, direct question. In preparation for this hearing, I reached out to all of my friends of parks groups at Aqueduct and at Washington's Walk and Sedgwick and all the others, and I actually heard one thing resoundingly from them, which is a frustration around dealing with smoking in our parks. Just folks going in and they're smoking cigarettes, they're smoking marijuana, they're smoking, around children and things like that. And so my question for you all is, one, flagging it for you, Matt, just to make sure it's on your radar for the PEP officers and everything. But what should I tell our Friends of Parks volunteers regarding how they should best route those concerns, because they're concerned about, getting into an altercation with folks like that.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember, for the question. That is a frustrating thing for the groups to have to experience. I really do recommend that groups use the 311 process. That would avoid that direct conflict with the person in violation of our park rules, and that information does go to Park Enforcement Patrol. As you know, they might not be able to respond kind of in the immediate time frame, but having that record of complaints helps them figure out where they're doing regular patrol. So if we see a pattern of complaints coming in regarding smoking in a certain park, that will help them then, try to send some resources there in the future. So I would recommend that to the groups.
Thank you. And just to make this a hearing style question, do you have information about how quickly you're able to respond to those kinds of requests?
I don't have it here, but we could look at that data. Because I think basically we would have the 311 data for complaints about smoking in parks, and we can show what the resolutions were. If I'm going to have to guess, most of them are going to be closed without being able to go right away, just because of our enforcement capacity. But we can work with you on making sure the parks that people are complaining about, that we're working with the captains there in the Bronx to have some patrols there.
Got it. And last follow-up, not advocating for this, just asking, does NYPD ever get involved in this if a complaint is narrowly about smoking?
I think, we work very closely with NYPD. They really focus on crime and crime patterns, and I do not believe that they do not really enforce against park rules in our parks.
Got it. And sorry, I said that was the last one, but this is the last one, I promise. What does a PEP officer do if they are able to make it in time?
Sure. I mean, I think that for our PEP officers, they are there to enforce park rules. They would first try to really educate the park goer. We try to use enforcement as a last resort, but they do have the ability to issue a summons for smoking in a park.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chair.
I just want to go back before we go to Harlem. I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about the data, the volunteer data that you have. Is that compiled with the data that comes from NYC service, or is it separate? Is it aggregated into one, or is it?
Thank you for the question. So NYC Services data is separate from ours. We compile and collect our own volunteer data information. We have multiple divisions within the Parks Department that collects the data. And then we have a central repository for that information called the Let's Green NYC Initiative, and we store the number of hours, the number of volunteers that do formalized projects in our parks there. So the data from NYC Service, though NYC Service may be involved in a project that we're doing, we collect the data ourselves through our different management arms.
Thank you. What are the standards that DPR uses when a community group proposes youth programming, sports, wellness classes, cultural programming, to determine if such programming will be allowed to occur on parks property?
Sure, thank you for the question. If a group is looking to do an event in our park, they would use the special event permit process to apply for such event. And, we really do want to encourage groups to activate and use our parks for those kind of variety of events, youth events, cultural events. We just need to screen them to make sure, that where they want to do the event is not already, permitted for some other activity. We need to make sure, depending on the nature of the event, that they can provide the appropriate insurance. If they need, as I stated before, if they need amplified sound, they have to get a sound permit. There are places that we don't necessarily allow sound. So that's what the role of our special event permit coordinators are there to do, is to kind of take that application of what they're looking to do and help them work through and make sure they can run a safe, event for the public. Again, we don't do a lot of denials. I would say the main reason for denial is probably going to be that the space is not available because it's already permitted.
Sorry. I have a few groups in my district that for some reason every summer they run into issues with the permitting office, I guess particularly in Queens, to which either they're denied or they're just given a really, really, really hard time. Oftentimes our office has had to step in, or the previous office has had to step in, and so that's why I asked the question, what would constitute a denial, because I do see it in my district quite often.
I'm surprised to hear that. I think we should work with your office to take a review of what you're seeing. We're happy to do that because I think by and large, we're permitting like over 20,000 permits, annually. And so I think we are permitting a significant number of events in our parks, and that in that process, if the original site or the original day that somebody's looking to do, I think our permit coordinators really work with the applicant to try to find an alternate time or day to help them work to be able to do their event. That is what they do day in and day out. So I'm surprised to hear of the difficulties. We certainly want to work with you to try to overcome them and have that be a smoother process.
I appreciate that. Aside from conservancies that have formal contracts or licenses to perform maintenance activities in parks, do any volunteer groups or other local community groups perform similar maintenance activities or other park functions that DPR would otherwise perform?
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember, for the question. So basically, as I said before, we have a huge maintenance staff that's on a schedule cleaning our parks. And we take great pride in the level of cleanliness and care and condition that we keep our parks in. So, we do not see other groups coming in and, we step back while they step in. The volunteer work that's happening really is a supplement and an added value to the base level of care that we're providing for our parks.
Thank you. One final question. I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Salam. When a potential partner organization makes a proposal to parks, but there are concerns about insurance, permit staffing, safety, noise, lighting, or site conditions, who works with them to revise and fine-tune the idea?
So if a community-based organization is not affiliated with Partnership for Parks and they're just applying for a permit directly to the borough permit coordinator would work with them. But again, a plug for PFP here. Groups that are affiliated with PFP and have a community engagement coordinator, that person can really help them navigate the process and work with them to run a successful event.
Sorry, and I'll just interject quickly that if a proposed event is of a specific size or scale, like typically over 500 or so, we actually have a dedicated citywide special events team for events that have a little more complexity or, moving pieces, or a little more, substantial, for lack of a better word. And that team, similar to our borough permit offices, can help applicants kind of, clarify policies and things of that nature as well.
Do the borough permit offices, do they refer folks to PFP?
There's essentially yes, the permit offices are certainly, our borough operations, our borough commissioners and their teams work very, very closely with PFP and our outreach coordinators. So, we're one agency, one family. So, yes, I think it's very common. I don't know if refer is quite the right word, but, there's certainly dialogue, or it is not uncommon for, hey, we're interacting with this organization about a permit. But there's not a firewall. That's not siloed. They'll have discussions with the borough commissioner, with with the Partnerships for Parks. Commissioner Smith, do you have anything else you want to add?
Sometimes the question may come in, like if a group goes through the borough process, and the borough will automatically ask, like, are you affiliated with PFP? So the question comes up. If they're not, sometimes, again, referral maybe not exactly the best word there, but if they're not, PFP may be tagged and saying, like, this group is coming to us often to do these things. You might want to consider working with them or something like that. So it comes in dribs and drabs in different ways.
Is it required that the staff person do that, or is it at their discretion?
Is it required? I'm sorry, you said is it required?
Is it required that the staff person that's working with this group that's applying, and let's say this group is having issues, is it required that they, I don't want to use the term refer again, but I don't know what other term to use, refer them to PFP, or is it at their discretion to do so?
If I can, I think I'd characterize for a borough permit office, it may not be immediately clear that the applicant could just be an individual or a family, just, right? Like, it's not always immediately clear that they represent a formalized CBO or similar institute. So there's not really a formal mechanism in place for, again, a referral. But I think it's a more organic kind of process where when we become aware of an organization and it becomes more substantial, that we want to make sure they're aware of PFP and any resources that might be available to them.
Do you think it would be helpful if it was something that was required for them to say, if there was a process in place. I'm asking because I never want it to be, well, I guess no one ever wants it to be that if there is a group that unfortunately has a bad reputation with the person they're working with at parks, that they may not have access to what other groups may have access to. Do you get where I'm going with
I do, and I think broadly speaking, I think we'd want to make sure that frankly, any individual, any group, whether formalized or not, we want to make sure if they want to help their local parks and make those parks more exciting and better places to experience, we want to make sure they have access to that, and there shouldn't be any. So to the degree that there is any, sort of lesser than treatment or anything like that, if there is a relationship complication, some of these groups have known each other for years, or agency. If there's anything that needs to be resolved there, that's something we'd obviously want to know about and take a very close look at and do whatever we can to conflict resolution or whatever that path might be. Thankfully, it's exceedingly rare. Again, as Commissioner Nelson noted, we are. Tens of thousands of New Yorkers are coming to us every single day with things they want to do in our parks, whether that's through special event permits or filming or athletic permits or what have you, or even outside of the permit process, interesting ideas, interesting proposals, and we do everything we can to hear those out and advance as many of them as possible, whether it's through formal permits or not, and that's something we want to continue, obviously, improving.
If various groups are having issues with a permit office, who would they escalate their complaint to?
So one of the improvements that we made when we took a look at the permit process is to really streamline and centralize the permit process. So in the past, borough permit offices, depending on the borough had different reporting structures. So we streamlined it to have all the borough permit offices report directly to the borough commissioner in that borough. So that's one change that we made. So you could escalate to the borough commissioner. The other change that we made is to really centralize policy. So we have now a citywide special events policy office and a citywide athletic permit policy office. And so that also centralizes and we're trying to make sure that those standards and policies are, kind of consistent across the boroughs and not just borough-based, for example.
We make it a point to, especially when we're dealing with the police department, to ask them about cultural training. Is that something that parks employees, particularly in the permit office, have to go through as part of their job responsibility, given that they're dealing with so many different community groups of different cultures? Is that something they go through?
I think we have a high level of customer service, and we do customer service training. We would have to check to see if what cultural components are included in that, and happy to get back to you on that.
How often is the customer service training done?
I'll have to check and get back to you on that.
Okay. Please, I would love the answer to those two questions. Thank you. Councilmember Salam.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the testimony. DPR has approximately 85 contractual agreements with private organizations, yet private funding arrangements historically channel more resources towards parks and wealthier neighborhoods. What is DPR's current framework for evaluating whether its CBOs and private partner agreements are equitably distributed across all 5 boroughs? And what metrics does the department use to ensure that parks in lower income communities, which typically lacks access to philanthropic support, are not falling further behind as the system increasingly relies on private dollars and volunteer labor?
Thank you, Councilmember, for the question. I think I think with the resources that we have as a city, do a great job at taking care of our park system with, using city employees and city resources and capital dollars to renovate our parks. We do appreciate when private groups come in and can enhance the work we're doing with their private fundraising. But I recognize that that is more easily able to do in certain neighborhoods than others. I think, that, again, it's why it's so important that we have this 30-year partnership with City Parks Foundation, because they are out there fundraising from private donors to bring money into underserved parks. And through their Green Fund grant program, they're doing exactly that and bringing private dollars and allowing small community groups who may not have access to that fundraising resources themselves to apply for grants that they can then use to activate their parks and provide more programming and activities in their park. So again, I think this Partnership for Parks program that we're talking about is really one of the ways that Parks is working in this public-private partnership to bring more private dollars into under-resourced parks. Not only private dollars for their own activities, but it's funding, it's funding the staff that are working with these communities to build capacity.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely need it. Of
I
course.
would
Yes.
I would add a couple of things. When we started the Green Fund, it was really meant to be temporary. It was meant to help address funding cuts during COVID. But what we found from philanthropists, frankly, was that the knowledge that we have of the community and the ability we have to vet projects and then distribute money made it possible for those funders to get money out into neighborhoods that they themselves would not necessarily make direct grants to. So we're definitely seeing that money being spread out in a way that it hadn't been before. And we have right now 20 supporters of the Green Fund. I'm hoping to double that, if not more, because the more money we have, the more money we can give out. So that's one thing. The second thing is the Catalyst program in particular was designed to help build groups in communities that don't have groups, which is why the number of parks that each organizer works with is so low, because they really spend a lot of their time in those neighborhoods. And then the final thing that I would say is the Parks and Open Space Partners Coalition, which sounds like it's basically a group of conservancies that have money, is not the case. In fact, most of those groups are pretty small, and the benefit of having a membership that's made up of big and small conservancies is that we're able to share resources. So for groups that don't necessarily have access to a full HR person or a full-time CFO, we're able to share back and forth. We're training together. We're subsidizing management training. We're subsidizing cultural awareness training. We're subsidizing training for gardening. So we're doing everything that we can to share those resources with as many groups as we can, whether they're big or small.
Chair, from one last question. DPR reported a 25% decline in volunteer turnout in the first 4 months of fiscal year 26 versus the same time period of fiscal year 25, citing a suspension of its It's My Park Day to events refocusing on and strengthening community engagement. Given that 73% of young New Yorkers want to volunteer but don't know how, what is DPR's concrete plan to rebuild the volunteer pipeline, including through a new digital portal and volunteer directory? And when will structured programming like It's My Park Day be fully restored?
Thank you, Councilmember, for the question. I'm going to turn it over to Assistant Commissioner Karina Smith.
Hi, Councilmember. I'm a Harlem girl too, so good to see you. We actually worked on the Gate of the Exonerated together, so good to see you again. So the It's My Park program was suspended for a little bit, but it actually, and what we actually learned is that there was still robust engagement happening while it was technically suspended. That's going to happen again. It's not suspended again. And actually, suspended is not the right word. Pause is a better word, right? It is no longer paused and is in full motion. It's My Park season is happening right now in full swing. In terms of a volunteer pipeline, digitally, We have, again, I'm pointing back again to our Let's Green NYC program, where so I've been describing it as sort of when people are not really sure where to go, if you're able to go to our webpage, it's sort of like a match.com kind of situation, right? So like if you say that you're interested in working in your interest is dogs, then you can click that on our website and it'll link you to different groups who are stewarding dog runs, for example, or whatever your interest is. You can go to our It's My Park, I'm sorry, not It's My Park, our Let's Green NYC directory and hopefully find something that speaks to you and allows you to be able to volunteer with an organization listed that provides that type of engagement or that type of volunteership. And you can reach out to that organization and join them and see if you can be a part of it. There are also opportunities if you yourself are just, you're sincerely, nothing is speaking to you. On our website, on that Let's Green page, there's a button that says, I want to volunteer individually. And then you can literally just self-select what it is that you want to do. You may not know, but you know you want to do something. That's a great way to get in. That will connect you to a Partnerships for Parks coordinator who can help you figure out what it is that you want to do.
And then I also just want to add on top of that. So It's My Park events are very specific kind of one type of volunteer event. So even though we did a pause for, I think it was like 2 months in the summer when we usually have to cancel a lot of those events anyway for weather, there's lots of other volunteer events that are happening throughout our park system. And when you look at the Let's Green numbers that Commissioner Smith was talking about, we've tried to really collect all the data we can collect from volunteer activities throughout our agency. It's 1.5 million engagements over the past 3 years. So I think we have a very robust kind of volunteer engagement system that we always are looking to grow. So I just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Thanks.
Sorry, and Councilmember, I wanted to correct myself real quick. The individual volunteer button doesn't connect you to Partnerships for Parks. It connects you to a person actually in my office who is overseeing the Let's Green NYC initiative and can then help you figure out, which part of parks to connect to. I just wanted to clarify. It didn't go directly to PFP.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay.
All right. I have a couple more questions before we go into public testimony. Can CBOs use parks or recreation centers to provide mental health resources, wellness programming, caregiver support, or child care support on a consistent basis?
Thank you, Councilmember, for the question. For our recreation centers, we do not rent out space in our recreation centers because we have park staff that are providing programming for our members, but we are open to groups that may want to provide programming for members or more broadly for the public for free. So we're always looking for those kinds of partnerships with community-based organizations. We have to make sure that, again, any partnerships we're doing are parks appropriate use. So maybe some of the activities you mentioned wouldn't really work for a rec center. But again, if somebody was looking to do that kind of programming in our park, they would apply for a special event permit.
Thank you. What are the most common reasons sports programming requests are delayed, denied, or limited?
So talking about athletic permit requests. So again, we have huge demand, huge and growing demand for our fields and our courts. And I want to commend our athletic permit coordinators who are doing, amazing work every day, trying to get as many permits and accepted as they possibly can. And that includes oftentimes when people are applying and maybe they can't get a specific time for that court or field, trying to work with them to find other times or fields that could work with them. So our denial rate is low for athletic fields.
Okay. For CBOs that propose temporary sports-related events, what is ZPR's process for approving those events? What are the most common reasons those requests get delayed or denied? What support does Parks provide to help groups meet those requirements?
Sure. So what we've realized is that in the athletic permit space, right, usually it's it's leagues that are applying to do, league play. But tournaments, right? Basketball tournaments are more like one-day events. We're trying to set up, that's more like a special event. So it's a joint process with athletic field permitting and our special event staff, because those kind of one-day athletic style events also have some special event permit type things like, again, there might be sponsorship, there might be amplified sound, there are other things that we need to take a look at in that permitting process. So again, we have our teams working with groups that are looking to do tournament play and try to make sure we can accommodate.
Sure. Oftentimes, CBOs may be running an event, sports or otherwise, where the permitted area becomes unusable too early because the lights are not strong enough, not working, or not kept on long enough. For such events, what is the process for requesting extension of lighting hours?
So, we recognize, thank you for the question, Councilmember. Again, because we have limited fields and growing demand, we recognize that lighting some of these fields does extend the playing time, right, that we can make available to folks. So it is an agency priority we have fields, we have some number of fields that do have sports lighting, and we have, I think about 15 projects in the capital process pipeline to include lighting of additional fields. So that will be a great thing for our sports users. We can control a lot of this lighting remotely now. We're moving into a technology where you don't have to actually be on the field to turn on and off the lighting, which is great. So people can reserve a field with the lighting, right? They're paying extra for the lighting, and that lighting should be on for the time that they are permitted to play. We do try to build in a little extra time, like they should finish the game at a certain time, and then we want to have the lighting still on while they, have time to leave the field and leave the park. But in general, our time for cutoff for lighting is 10 p.m., and we have to keep in mind that a lot of these fields are in residential neighborhoods where we want to make sure we're being respectful of the neighbors and not having folks in the parks or with the lighting shining in their houses for, past a certain hour.
How does DPR weigh safety, noise, staffing, and community demand when deciding whether lights can stay on beyond 10 p.m.?
Again, we pretty much have a policy now of lights not staying on past 10 p.m. I think we have a few exceptions like Randall's Island where we're not abutting a residential community, so the lights can stay on a little longer there. But in general, our policy is 10 p.m.
Has the Parks Department ever granted a group an extension beyond 10 p.m.?
I'm not aware, but we can check and get back to you. I think sometimes, there might be, some very extenuating circumstance where a call is made and we have to make a judgment call for the safety and security of that event or the park goers, so I think we want to be accommodating, make sure everybody is safe. But in general, we're asking the folks who are permitting our fields to abide by our rules and the timing and make sure they're getting off the field in the right amount of time.
How is 10 p.m. determined to be the set time for the lights to shut off? How and when?
How and when?
Yes.
I don't have the answer to that question. We can get back to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think in part it was because there was variability across boroughs, and we wanted to establish a set time, and so that time was thought to be a reasonable time.
Have you all received any complaints from permit holders about lighting?
We receive complaints all the time about a lot of things.
If I may, just to not to complicate the matter, but we receive feedback that 10 p.m. is that they should shut off even earlier, right? Like from local residents. So not to
right now the permit holders is my
understood, but and as you heard, yes, we certainly have gotten feedback that there is a desire or a wish that those could be on later. But I just want to make clear that we've heard just as loud, fervent voices directly, and I think it's just actually a pretty instructive example of the challenging policy decisions that the agency has the responsibility and that is our job as the New York City Parks Department, right? These are some of the policy considerations that we have to balance, as you've heard from our colleagues that we do our best to strike that balance. We love that people are out there using our parks, but also we need to balance that with other community concerns and issues that we're hearing.
In the 90s, Mayor Dinkins started a program, to my understanding, called Midnight Basketball. And I know that's pretty far back, probably before I was born, but do you have any data that speaks to the success or lack thereof for that program?
Historically, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not aware that we would.
I don't think we would because that's probably going back too far. But I would say I think the current version of that program is Saturday Night Lights, where there's I think over 100 sites, and we have in our Parks Department recreation centers, I think we're 14 of those over 100 or 150 sites, where we're keeping the recreation centers open late on Saturday nights and working with the NYPD, providing lots of different programming, not only basketball, but swimming and arts and crafts and other events for teenagers to give them a safe space to be on Saturday night. And again, through DYCD, who has contracts with many different community-based organizations, there's lots of that programming that's happening in a safe, kind of secure environment for those teens to come to. And I think if I had to guess, one of the concerns about doing till midnight in parks outside is that it's harder to provide that safety and security that we'd want for our young population.
I appreciate that. Okay. I do have one more question. This is more Southeast Queens based. Roy Wilkins Park has to go through Central for permitting. However, Baisley Pond Park requests do not. They're close in distance. What is the reason that one park has to go through Central and the other, the borough?
So, to my understanding, Roy Wilkins, if it meets the criteria for a local permit that wouldn't require it to go to central citywide special events, it would also be handled by the borough permit office.
Yeah, if there's an instance where the same scale, the same nature, like essentially the same event is happening at two different parks and being handled by different offices, I think we'd want to hear more about that. But traditionally, a larger scale event, a concert, something like that, would be handled by the central citywide special events team, whereas smaller events, barbecues, reunions, picnics, what have you, generally gets handled by the permit office.
So if you can look into that, I'm being told by the organization that has a license agreement at the park that is not the case. So if you can look into that.
Yeah, sure. Have to look into that. Will do.
Thank you. All right. No further questions, Councilmember? All right. So with that, I want to thank the Parks Department for joining us today, as well as City Parks Foundation and all of the organizations. Thank you so much. We're going to turn this part of... Yep. I'm now opening the hearing for public testimony. I remind members of the public that this is a formal government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent at all times. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant at Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. If you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card with the Sergeant at Arms and wait to be recognized. When recognized, you will have 2 minutes to speak on today's hearing topics, examining the Parks Department engagement with community-based organizations and volunteers, and Intro 822. If you have written statement or additional written testimony you wish to submit for the record, please provide a copy of that testimony to the Sergeant at Arms. You may also email written testimony to testimony@council.nyc.gov within 72 hours of this hearing. Audio and video recordings will not be accepted. We're going to call our first panel. 6 people in person. Okay. Two panels, and then we have 6 or 7 on virtual. Got it. Matt Molina. Kara Nowakowski. Shanique Wolfa. Oh, shooter. Okay. If I mispronounce your name, I do apologize. If you can just state it clearly for the record when you give your testimony.
This guy next is here tonight.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you. Do I need to hold? No, okay. Thank you, Chair Hankerson and members of the Council's Committee on Parks and Recreation for convening this hearing and providing the opportunity to testify. My name is Matt Molina. I'm the director and founder of Nycc H2O, a nonprofit organization that has been stewarding the Ridgewood Reservoir in Highland Park for the past 10 years. In that time, we have maintained and improved the site, removed invasive species, including the formidable Phragmites, restored native habitat, and brought over 9,000 New Yorkers, school children, families, and community members to experience the remarkable nature that abounds there. We have provided over $3 million in services at no cost to the Parks Department. I'm here today because the Parks Department's ad hoc approach to do this work is unsustainable. We need the ability to enter into a license agreement similar to what's in place for larger parks that Councilman Salam spoke about and Councilman Morano and Councilwoman Narcisse had alluded to and asked questions about. A license agreement allows us to raise private and public funds to improve the reservoir's infrastructure, including its historic gatehouses, for the community to benefit from, and to build trails for the public inside its basins. Right now, there's 50 acres of reservoir that is unused by the public. There's nowhere else in New York City where 50 acres is off limits to the public. Not even Fresh Kills landfill is off limits to the public, that the Parks Department is making available to the public. So it needs to change. Without one, we can't enter into contracts, hire contractors, or accept capital grants tied to parks property, no matter how strong our track record is or how clear the community would benefit. The cost of that barrier is not abstract. In 2025, State Senator Julia Salazar committed $770,000 in grant funds to electrify the East Gatehouse at the reservoir, a building that has sat unused for 2 years since the Parks Department spent $5.3 million to renovate it. We asked for a license agreement to manage the work, offering to use contractors that the Parks Department themselves use to work on their electrical systems. Parks Department said no. We made a second offer to transfer the grant entirely to Parks. They would do the work, and all we asked is that we could use the building and have a license agreement for us to have a community kayaking program where we could use that building and make it possible. Parks said no again.
Mr. Molina, just for the sake of fairness, because the time has expired, if you can just wrap up
You got it.
with your final paragraph.
Absolutely. Sorry. The gatehouse still sits unused. Senator Salazar was frustrated and withdrew the funding, and the Ridgewood Reservoir and community lost $770,000. We hope that the Parks Department would formalize their protocols for entering into formal agreements with CBOs.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I know the time goes by very, very quickly.
Thank you. I'll try to speak quickly. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Karen Nowakowski. I am a board member, a coach, and a swimmer with Team New York Aquatics, or TNYA. TNYA is New York City's only LGBT inclusive adult aquatics charity. And with over 1,000 members and affiliates, we are the largest such charity in the entire country. TNYA offers programming in swimming, artistic swimming, water polo, and adult learn to swim. We're also a proud member of the Water Safety Coalition as the largest CBO provider of adult learn to swim programming in New York City. LGBT organizations like TNYA are more important than ever right now. I personally have been a competitive swimmer since I was 6 years old, and joining TNYA is the first time in my life I've ever had other trans and non-binary teammates as well as coaches. And I know that many of my teammates feel the same way. We're here testifying today because right now, current parks policies require us primarily to use rental pools, usually at full like market value rate. And that means that 75% of our operational budget goes towards rentals. Fortunately, we're seeing signs of improvement under the current administration. We're heartened by the department's plan to broaden nonprofit usage of its pools, but we'd like the agency to consider the following 3 points, and I'll make this quick. First, Parks should implement transparent and fair permitting guidelines for its pools the same way it does for the ball fields and the courts that we heard about today. LGBT teams routinely book athletic fields. Pools should be no different. Number 2, parks should prioritize affordability in permitting and develop price caps for programs using parks pools, and thereby establish the precedent that city-owned facilities must be used for affordable purposes only, not for profiteering. And third, parks should use permit rules to expand pool access year-round. One really interesting thing about pool operating expenditures is that you can't turn a pool off overnight. You can't turn a pool off unless it's drained. And so that means that the maintenance fees are relatively stable unless seasonally we're draining the pools. So this means for rec centers in particular, every minute of pool time that we're not using is wasted money. Parks could easily expand operating hours without a significant increase in public spending, especially if it would allow permitting from CBOs during these extended hours. Our community wants nothing more than to partner with Parks and contribute to our city, and we earnestly hope that Parks can build on the promising start it's made in 2026 and make this partnership a reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much, Board Chair. My name is Shawneek Woolfolk. I am the founder and the CEO of Arts in the Park, which is a local nonprofit organization based out of East Harlem. A little over 10 years ago, while I was sitting in the park with my 2 sons, a vision came over me to start a nonprofit and do more for my community. And that park was Alice Carnegie Triangle Park in East Harlem. From that simple moment, Art in the Park grew into something truly special. We provide free programming, a welcoming environment, and a space where young people and families have a safe space to learn, create, and belong. What began as my desire to do more for my community has grown into a beloved nonprofit. Over the years, we have transformed Alice Carnegie Triangle Playground into a creation hub, a place where youth and families return year after year, eager for the free programming and a sense of community we provide. Many of this programming wouldn't be possible without the support from Partnership for Parks and the Parks Department. Twice a year, we host a beautification where community members plant bulbs in memory of loved ones. And in the fall, we plant, and then in the spring, they see them bloom. It's a healing, joyful tradition that connects neighbors, honors those who we have lost, and brings new life to our shared green spaces. To date, we have planted over 5,000 bulbs. We have picked up about 200 bags of trash, and we have provided over 1,000 smiles, maybe more. But none of this work would be possible without the steadfast support from the Partnership from Parks. Their staff go above and beyond, providing not only the tools and resources needed for our beautification projects and our community days, but the kind of hands-on, genuine support that lets community-led organizations like ours truly thrive. Partnership for Parks, Parks Department have created more than a partnership. They have created a platform, a space where neighbors become collaborators, where parks become classrooms, and where communities come together to learn and grow. For groups like Art in the Park, Partnership for Parks is the backbone that makes grassroots impact possible, and their investment in the community partnerships is an investment in the heart of New York City. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to you both.
I'm going to call our next panel. Leona Chen, Jermaine Sean Smith, Christopher Leon Johnson, however.
Yeah, hello. My name is Christopher Leon Johnson. I support Intro 822. That need to get passed. Shout out to D.I. Henry. Did a lot of great work in the New York Red Bulls. They should have won an MLS Cup, but that's how life goes. You know what I mean? Don Garber, we need to put regulation and promotion inside of Major League, inside U.S. soccer. And shout out to Pele, who did a lot of great work for the Cosmos. It was sad they didn't settle shop in the city like in Coney Island than Patterson. I hope that the city council one day find a way to get the Cosmos back into New York City. Hopefully play at Coney Island or somewhere in New York City, like the park in your district. I think it's your district in St. John's, or I think it's Linda Lee's district. The park is the soccer field in St. John's. But I want to say this right now that I hope to God that going forward that you, sir, introduce the bill on behalf of Mr. Shabazz Stewart when it comes to the bike parking. I know they work with Ani, the New York City Park Department. They opened a delivery hub right outside. Shout out to Worker Justice Project opening up. I got them this morning because they didn't even open up yet. They did that for the photo op for April 7th for the photo op so they can get on the ticker for the 100-day ceremony. But I'll say this right now that I hope that going forward you introduce a bill in the city council where when it comes to the bike parking, a certain percentage of the bike parking must go to a black-owned, MWBE-owned company. And it should go designate to Ani. It should be a bill for where Ani deserves his just due because they got done dirty last session under Eric Adams when it came to the bike parking contract. But I hope that when it comes to giving out contract to the city, where just like how any major contract in the city was done by the city of New York, 25% goes to MWE company. A bike parking company like Ani should be part of that. It should be a bill introduced on their behalf to where that a bike parking company, 25% of that bike parking infrastructure be designated to a minority-owned company that's be issued to Ani. So thank you so much and enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Johnson.
Yes. Good afternoon, Council Chair and Council Committee members. My name is Leona Chin. I'm the Program Manager for Casino Synergy. We steward and take care of the park in Flushing, Queens. Our team is comprised of dynamic, proactive, diverse, inclusive, multi-generational, multilingual, and multi-abled volunteer teams that are dedicated to environmental stewardship, collaborative community service, and responsive civic engagement and outreach. I'm here today to advocate for more funding for parks because of the collaborative work that we do with them. We serve with New York City Parks, Partnership for Parks, and Natural Resources Group by taking care of the trees, plants, and shrubs in Casino Park. We also conduct water sampling. We take care of the rain gardens. We also take care of the catch basins in our area because there's a flooding issue there. Our teams are comprised of special needs, pre-vocational teams, college teams, high school teams, corporate teams, and family teams. We serve Tuesday through Saturday from 9 to 12. We have an amazing relationship with Parks Department. They support us in all of the work that we do, but we find that every fiscal year, we find that we're missing our key personnel because either they've moved on or they've been accessed. We're here to support their funding, and I'm running out of time. We're just very thankful that we have the funding that we have, but we'd like to see it restored and increased to the 2% that we had many years ago. Thank you.
Looking at a timer. All righty. Good afternoon, Chair Hankerson and members of the Committee on Parks, the ones that were here, and Recreation. My name is Jermaine Sean Smith, Executive Director of the Southern Queens Park Association. Since 2022, I've been in this role, SQPA. We've stewarded 54 acres of Roy Wilkins Park since 1977, and we are the only Black-led organization in New York City doing so. I want to start with the truth. The relationship between SQPA and the New York City Parks Department has gone through real ups and downs. There were seasons where no communication happened, broke down consistently, and that dysfunction was never one-sided. SQPA owns its share of the history. For the past 2 years, however, that relation has been on the upswing, and this committee should hear that clearly. That turn began with former Commissioner Iris Rodriguez Rosa. She listened, she showed up, she treated SQPA not as a problem to be managed, but as a partner to be respected. She helped us begin to rebuild trust, and that had eroded over the years. Today, that work continues under Commissioner Shimomura. The partnership we have right now is the strongest SQPA has had with New York City Parks in years. When we've brought forward our capital vision for Roy Wilkins Park, both Commissioner Tricia and Queensborough Commissioner Jackie Langsam welcomed the conversation to offer to stay engaged. Accountability, I would not be honoring the committee's invitation if I only spoke about what Parks has done well, but SQPA has also taken accountability for the changes that we've seen and what we do. Over the past 4 years, we've done the hard work, unglamorous work of putting our own house in order. We professionalized our HR, done work to make sure that we have the board structure to keep us accountable. Here's our ask, because of my time. I will close with this. SQPA is pursuing a sole source concession agreement that would give us certainty for the next 50 years. State legislation, Senate Bill 111-96-3-015, would require parks to establish a formal, publicly available process for these agreements with clear deadlines and arbitration enforcement. That bill matters for SQPA and for every community-based organization doing this work across the 5 boroughs. I respectfully ask the committee to keep an eye on that legislation and keep believing that community-led stewardship supported by responsive Parks Department is one of the best investments New York City can make. Thank you, Chair Hankerson. Happy to provide. Do I get an additional 2 minutes? That is Senate Bill 11963-01-5.
Okay, we're going to call our next panel, which is on Zoom. We're going to call Adam from New York Parks. Okay. Adam, are you there? Oh, it's on Zoom. Yep.
You may begin.
If we're going to try to go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Something's up with my audio. Can you say something again just so I can?
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm on. Thanks. Apologies. A little technical glitch.
No worries.
My name is Adam Ganzer. Appreciate the hearing and appreciate being able to testify. It's nice to see you, council member. I am the executive director of New Yorkers for Parks. New York City's park system is a lifeline for New Yorkers, so much so that when the public's frustration from decades of disinvestment has led to a massive ad hoc quasi-public-private system to maintain these public spaces citywide. As you've heard, the city has over 40 not-for-profit parks conservancies. There are nearly 500 volunteer organizations supported by Partnership for Parks across the city with the sole focus of improving their local parks. And the agency itself notes that there are more than 200,000 volunteers citywide that choose to spend their free time maintaining their parks. While this may seem like a reason to rejoice in civic engagement, it begs a question. Why do we need a population of a small city of volunteers to do the works that the Parks Department should be doing itself? The answer, of course, is funding. Public funding for the Parks Department has been an embarrassment for the city for 40 plus years, and during that time, we've seen the system descend in national rankings and the inequity of access to clean, safe parks become a flashpoint. What's worse is that the city wants to have its cake and eat it too at the expense of New Yorkers. Having its cake means millions of private dollars going to conservancies and millions of free volunteer hours for basic maintenance of our city's parks. And eating that cake means that the administration continues to pull resources from the agency while making it extremely difficult for conservancies and small volunteer organizations to do this work. License agreements, insurance and indemnification, permitting have all been a constant source of frustration.
Time expired.
Of all sizes. If I could finish, I just need 30 seconds.
Okay.
To its credit, the Parks Department has made significant steps recently towards streamlining permitting. But the agency suffers from a depleted administration staff at all levels, notably administrative assistants, event staff, and more, the very people who can help on these issues. And funding for Partnership for Parks, a lifeline for hundreds of volunteer organizations, is constantly on the chopping block. And while there has been progress on license agreements, insurance and indemnification for parks groups, the Parks Department is tethered to the city law department, which drags its feet when real reform is needed. The council, the administration, and the agency must prioritize further reforms so that all New Yorkers can get the benefits of these groups. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Adam. Next, we're going to have Alan.
You may begin.
Good evening, Council. I'm the founder of Red Hook Pool, which is a member of the Water Safety Commission. Last year, the pool was close to the season due to a mechanical pipe that went in until the day open.
Alan, I'm sorry, but you're having service issues. You're not coming through clearly on our end, unfortunately.
Have to somebody else talk. I'll see if I fix this.
Okay. Alan, we're going to come back to you. You may have to turn your camera off and keep the audio on. You may have to try it that way, but we're going to come back to you because it's not coming through clearly. We're going to move to George Sands.
You may begin.
Okay. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Good to go.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to share our insights. My name is George Sands, and I volunteer with Friends of Mount Prospect Park. The Parks Department plans to commandeer Mount Prospect Park's lawn for a largely paved skateboard facility behind barriers. The city has driven volunteers to organize 3,000 petitioning park lovers, Brooklyn CB9, and environmental health, historical, and climate conscious skateboarding groups all call on you to protect the park. When people in power aren't hiding behind deference, they acknowledge the plan contradicts the tree canopy law, urban forest plan, and policies to address the dangerous paved heat island effect. Also, paying for the water management undercuts climate budgeting because the taxpayers are legally required to pay for extra engineering for this environmental harm. You're paving permeable parkland and cutting and endangering shade trees in Brooklyn, which has the least green space per person and the worst tree canopy in the city, and also has more than 40% of the city's skateboard facilities, mostly around Mount Prospect Park. So much for equity. The project was a secret deal. Participatory budgeting was used to direct hundreds of thousands of dollars voted by District 39 with no site disclosed, even though it had been picked to pave a park in District 35, which had no vote. We volunteers want an investigation for violating the City Council's Adopt a Park law. It requires preserving a park's integrity, but the plan pours concrete throughout the center of this National Register eligible park, and the sponsor is supposed to donate maintenance money and indemnify the city. But documents indicate the city zeroed out $1 million funding from California celebrity skateboarder Tony Hawk's organization. And safety issues.
Time expired.
2 seconds. And safety issues pinpointed by experts raise taxpayer liability for injuries to park goers, passerbys, and skateboarders due to flawed site selection. We call on you to correct course before permanent damage is done. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Next, we'll have Haley Gorenberg.
You may begin.
Thank you for this opportunity to shed light. My name is Haley Gorenberg, and I volunteer for multiple New York City parks-oriented organizations, including as a community resident voting member of Brooklyn Community Board 8's Parks, Youth, and Education Committee, which I'm highlighting today. I started attending CB8 committee meetings because CB8 was one of 2 boards long time on record as attached to my neighborhood's park, Mount Prospect Park, and the city had suddenly announced a huge concrete skateboard facility would be built there. I attended so many meetings that I became a voting member. Parks Department practices with this volunteer organization are alarming. Parks fails to give materials in advance of showing a design, sometimes insisting on a vote in the same meeting. Why not give materials in advance? We are told that's just not something they do, even though we know that reasoned input would involve materials in advance, so volunteers would have time to formulate questions or address agency misrepresentations, sometimes flagrantly inaccurate statements when meeting with New York City Parks. But when they went to the Public Design Commission on March 23rd, after the Mount Prospect design was disclosed days earlier, what did project reps tell the mayoral appointees? Oh, they said they had given the CB8 committee materials in advance. They also told the mayoral commission that CB8 had, quote, explicitly said the community board wanted the skate facility built on Mount Prospect Park's beloved historic green parkland. They also said CB8 had verified that messages in support came from within the CB8 district, but CB8 district and committee leadership say none of that is true. They do not verify messages of support, and that the city is, to quote, steamrolling this project at this location with no community consultation on siting. That tracks everything else we know. The signs are that New York City Parks and the city are using CB8 volunteers as a fig leaf to falsely portray community support and legitimacy for a wildly inequitable, damaging, and even dangerous project sucking up millions of dollars of taxpayer money.
Time expired.
Thank you, Haley. Love the fabric that's behind you as well.
Thank you very much.
very
It's Eyes on the Park.
Ah, yes. We'll have Kathy Matson.
You may
next.
begin.
Kathy. Okay, we'll circle back. Next, we'll have Michael Taylor.
You may begin.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. I'm Michael Taylor. I'm founder of Team Spartan Spades, a fitness group that uses obstacle course racing to introduce people to multiple health and wellness as we help improve the health and wellness of the Bronx and beyond, up here at District 11 in the Bronx. I'm here to advocate on the behalf of parks to try to get more funding from the city, because it's very important and pertinent to the success of our parks to be seen on a global scale outside of places like Central Park and Cortona Park, which are the major parks in New York City. During the week, I offer free workouts to people from 6 to 7:30 in the evening. At this park, we have the soccer field and the soon-to-be Tony Hawk skate park that is also opening up in our area. On behalf of the park constituents, I try to advocate for pedestrian lighting, which is absent from Allerton Avenue up to Rosewood Avenue in that section of Bronx Park East. Matters of safety concerns continue to be prevalent in this park because we lack the pet patrols are limited and the cleanliness of the parks are limited. On the capacity of safety, we have people on dirt bikes and mopeds riding through the parks. People's lives are always at risk when these guys are out here on these dirt bikes. A matter of safety with the overgrowth and brushes. We have a huge homeless population that is being looked into by social services because we have people who traverse the park and sometimes have to use the bathroom. Unfortunately, there's no restroom due to the high budget, high ticket cost of a restroom, which is about $3 million. We need to find some way that we can get a restroom in this park area. This way we can avoid having men and women have to use the local shrubs, which are basically spreading infectious waste in the area, which again impacts the capacity.
Time expired.
Park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Next, we'll have Renee Scotland.
You may begin.
Yes, one moment, please. Okay, thank you for giving me the time to talk virtually, to give my statement virtually. I am the founding member of Friends of Commodore Barry Park. I have been with the group for 11 years. Um, on behalf of Friends of Commodore Barry, I am especially grateful to be given this opportunity to express my appreciation for Partnerships for Parks. Doing so reminds me and our group that our work and our community are seen. So, as the founding member of Friends of Commodore Barry, I want to express my deep appreciation for Partnerships for Parks and the impact they've had on our work as park stewards. From the beginning, their support has been steady and truly empowering. Their commitment to environmental stewardship has strengthened everything we do. They have partnered with us on gardening and park cleanups to programming to community events. The workshops they offer have helped us build our skills and confidence as organizers and leaders. Their guidance has also translated into real tangible outcomes for our group. For example, our inclusion in the Catalyst program in 2017 provided our group with critical support and structure. Ted Enoch and his Catalyst team helped us organize and identify community stakeholders, which to this day is so important to know who those people are, who those groups are, and as a result, expand our impact. An offshoot of that was an invitation to join the cohort visioning program. This program gave us the tools to plan and lead a visioning session in the park in the summer of 2018. That work culminated in a scope meeting in
Time
November
expired.
of that same year.
You can wrap up with your final statements.
Okay, so I'll just say the redesign of the park is about to begin, hopefully this year, and we have invested so much time in that scope meeting, bringing the community in, and it's just a dream and a wonderful sight to see that this is going to happen. On a personal note, I've grown tremendously in my role, and Partnerships Park has been a constant source. And having listened to the speakers today, my ask would be from the council to increase funding for park staff because there's just so much grassroots organizations can do.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
We're going to circle back to. Okay. Yeah. We'll circle back to Alan.
You may
Alan,
begin.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
You hear me okay?
Yes.
All right.
Perfect.
So I'm the founder of Friends of Red Hook Pool, which is a member of the Water Safety Coalition. Last year, the Red Hook Pool was closed for most of the summer swim season due to a mechanical failure that went undetected and unannounced until the day the pool should have opened. The Parks Department worked hard to open the pool after community uproar and managed to salvage the last 3 weeks of the short outdoor swim season. But Red Hook Pool is one of the 4 major outdoor pools with a free Learn to Swim program. So with its unanticipated closure, New York City lost 1/4 of its capacity to teach kids to swim. During last year's closure, I also came to learn that the Red Hook Pool was scheduled for a complete renovation with money secured from both federal and city sources after damages inflicted by Hurricane Sandy. Despite this being planned for years, there was no community outreach, and only after Councilmember Avias got involved did the Parks Department hold a town hall. At the town hall last September, the Parks Department did take community input about hopes for the rec center and pool, but they did not share their plans whatsoever. Furthermore, since then, they have not shared any plans or schedule or even provided a summary of the meeting. This is not an isolated case. There are many stories of plans that are not vetted with community and consequently fall flat. The Parks Department needs to be more transparent and take advantage of the insight that CBOs can bring to the table. And even putting major projects aside, CBOs can provide valuable input in programming as well as augment services that the Parks Department does not have the resources to support. Outdoor swimmers have wanted lap lanes in all pools, yet frequently the outdoor pools do not support such a simple thing. Another question the community has raised but is unanswered is why are police officers have to be present for an outdoor pool to open? Surely it's not necessary. And with community engagement, An alternate approach could eliminate this hurdle. There are CBOs that can provide low-cost,
Time
affordable,
expired.
free swim lessons. 1 second. Like TNYA, who just spoke. If there's a lifeguard shortage, and there is, partnering with CBOs to simplify the process of training and testing lifeguards could turn that around. There are so many intelligent and dedicated people involved with swimming in New York City. Boggling to me that Parks does not actively tap into the CBO community to meet their mission to provide quality recreational opportunities for all New Yorkers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. We're going to go back to Kathy Matson.
You may begin.
Hello, my name is Kathy Matson, and I'm representing Brooklyn's Cultural Road Block Association, an organization of volunteers who work to improve life and solve problems in the community. Kerba's block includes Mount Prospect Park. I moved onto Eastern Parkway in 2004. I was delighted by the green space, especially Mount Prospect Park. It has been a wonderful retreat for the community. The day camp groups go in there every day, and the dog walkers enjoy it for taking their dogs. I use the park to exercise, walk around the oval, and read a book, and even enjoy the quiet outdoors. For the past 2 years, Kerba has been extremely concerned about the plan secretly created by a handful of officials to turn the center of the lawn of Mount Prospect Park into a large, mostly paved skateboard facility. The community was not consulted about the decision to convert the park. For years, Kerba volunteers in Mount Prospect Park have been doing trash pickup and weeding in the park. Last year, we helped to mulch around the trees. Kerba volunteers secured a free donation of professional soil aeration and reseeding for Prospect Park in 2004. New York City Parks said that that kind of volunteer is supposed to be welcomed. They also closed multiple 311 requests to have basic lawn maintenance, making them corrected when no work was done. Our community would have enjoyed that green space for 2 years, but instead the Parks Authority rejected the improvement and have left the space neglected. Then they tell us the skateboard park construction is on the way to make the lawn greener. That should not be. By paving the park, it will take away the coolness of grass and not be as welcoming as it is today. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Finally, we're going to go to Ethan Norville.
You may begin.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good afternoon, Chair and committee. I'm the first vice chair at Brooklyn Community Board 9, and being so close to this, I have a couple points I want to talk about regarding just how parks are run and this kinds of thing. First thing, funding. A lot of parks in New York City, particularly Brooklyn too, end up kind of being under-maintained because of a consistent under-run of funding. If you can get some extra importance on that, we really be able to have the constant funding that we need to sort of have a lot of the parks, we kept a standard up to par and stuff like that. And my second point, I'm going to use Mount Prospect Park as an example for both. The second point, we want to see a lot more sort of bottom-up reconsideration when it comes to planning. A lot of people, even here on this call and in these organizations who support parks, are people who love the area that they live in and love the neighborhood to the point where they are devoted to it and want to give to it more than they take from it. In a lot of the cases, these people are willing to give input and help plan how parks are developed and advanced. And in many cases, their feedback isn't sufficiently taken into consideration. Like with Mount Prospect Park, it's a park that has undergone a bit of underfunding, has kind of had compacted soil for a while and hasn't been adequately cared for. And at the same time, the solution to that is being seen as paving over a chunk of it to sort of repurpose it in the borough that has the most skate parks and the most paved space and the least green space per person, which seems like exactly the opposite of a good idea. People should be considering a lot more local organizations and how we make these decisions. And I look forward to a city where that is the case. Thanks.
Thank you for your testimony. All right, with that,
that concludes our hearing today on the examining the Parks Department's engagement with community-based organizations and volunteers, Wednesday, May 6, 2026. This hearing is adjourned.